What would you do if the person you trusted most betrayed you? Not a stranger, not an enemy, your own brother. I'm Emily Harper. For 32 years, I was the invisible sister, the one who did everything right and still got nothing. But last year that changed, and it all started with a lie. I had a small life, one-bedroom apartment in Chicago, a job that barely paid the bills, and enough caffeine to survive. It was mine, and I loved it. Then there's Ryan, my younger brother, charming, manipulative, and somehow always the golden child. My parents adored him. My older sister, Claire, smart as she is, blind to his manipulation. Family dinners were always the same. Ryan would waltz in with some elaborate story, usually fiction, and my parents would practically applaud. Meanwhile, I could work nonstop and get a polite smile. I worked hard, I sacrificed. And what did I get? A reminder to be patient. But I didn't know it yet, patience was about to become my weapon. It was a Tuesday. I was eating leftover Chinese food when my life shifted. The property my grandmother left to Ryan and me had been sold, and I didn't even know. When I called my parents, sobbing and furious, my mother said, "Oh, honey, Ryan said he was handling that for you. He just wanted to make things easier." Easier, 90,000 gone. And that's when I realized my family wasn't just blind to him, they were helping him. Most people would scream, cry, call the police. I did none of that. I'd spent 32 years being underestimated. They thought I was weak. They were wrong. I opened a notebook and started writing. Every lie Ryan had told. Every time my parents had chosen him over me. Every loan he'd gotten that mysteriously never got repaid. Every credit he'd stolen for my work, my ideas, my connections. I made phone calls, quiet ones. I contacted the real estate agent, the notary, the bank. I discovered Ryan had been using my name and information for months, building an entire financial house of cards. The smoking gun? Text messages between Ryan and our cousin, laughing about how M will never figure it out, and planning which property to handle next. That was when patience became my superpower. For 3 months, I played the perfect sister, the quiet one, the one who didn't notice. I even asked Ryan for advice about getting over the property situation. He laughed, full of charm. Sometimes things work out for the best. Maybe Grandma would have wanted the money to help someone who really needed it. Someone who really needed it. I worked 50-hour weeks to afford groceries. He bought a motorcycle. Meanwhile, I built an airtight legal case with Vanessa, my attorney. The plan was simple. Let Ryan dig himself deeper while I documented everything. And trust me, he couldn't help himself. Lying was like breathing to him. In June, Ryan called me with a business opportunity. You know that other property Dad mentioned? Well, maybe I should handle the paperwork on that too, since I did such a good job with Grandma's place. The audacity. Sounds great, Ryan, I said. Why don't you come by this Saturday? We can discuss the details. Saturday came. Ryan arrived, grinning, thinking he was clever. I opened a folder. Inside were copies of every document, every forged signature, every bank transfer, every text message. I pressed play on the recorder. His own laughter filled the air. M will never figure it out. For the first time in my life, Ryan Harper was completely speechless. You had your chance, now it's my turn. The next 2 weeks were intense. Ryan tried everything: tears, promises, excuses. But evidence doesn't care about charm or family loyalty. My parents had to face reality. Claire apologized. Ryan returned every penny with interest and learned what respect truly means. 6 months later, my family looks completely different. My parents ask about my life, my opinions, my feelings. Claire and I have grown closer. Ryan is working a real job for the first time. We're not close, but he doesn't steal from me anymore. The biggest change is in me. Being quiet doesn't mean being weak. Patience can be more powerful than rage. And sometimes the people who claim to love you are the ones you need to protect yourself from the most. If you're dealing with someone in your life who takes advantage of your kindness, remember this. Document everything, trust your instincts, and never let charm blind you to betrayal. Until next time, I'm Emily Harper, reminding you, patience and planning can beat manipulation every single time.